So is this one of the spots that you found this morning with the marker float?
This is off that little spot. I've been trickling bait into it all the time just to keep bait going through the water column. And it seems to be working quite nicely at the moment.
Good fish?
No, I think it's not quite the ones earlier on, but
still a bite though. Yeah.
A carp's a carp, Martin, as we well know.
They don't have to be big to enjoy them, do they?
No, not at all.
Oh, he's fighting away there.
They're feisty little devils in here.
What sort of area are you fishing over?
Just trying to get it into the silt. There's a gravel seam, and I'm just trying to get the baits just behind that gravel into the silt. Right. Again, so I can, you know, that bait, if I'm a little bit inaccurate, which I try not to be, it will roll down to the bottom, and it seems to be doing the trick at the moment.
Okay. And what sort of depth of water are you looking at in that area?
It's about 9 foot at the bottom of the gravel.
Right. Okay. Have you put much feed in?
Not a lot, Martin. I put, you know, there's, I don't know, half a dozen spods worth to begin with, and I've just been topping it up with 1 or 2 spods every hour.
Okay. One bite at a time then?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, he's fighting well, isn't he?
He's a feisty little devil.
Now, I mean, it just shows the importance of this location. I mean, we've sat here this morning. I mean, you've had, what, 5, 6, 7 takes this morning?
A few more than that, actually.
Have you? Right, yeah, and I mean, I know people that go onto day ticket waters and they sit there all day and they just do, you know, they don't get a bite and they don't work for their bites, like, you know, and it's not that difficult, is it?
It isn't really. I think a lot of it, you know, people say, oh, markers are carp scarers, spods are carp scarers. I'm afraid that carp in pressured water, especially when there's a few carp, recognise that as food is on its way. And you know, the other thing is, don't be frightened to try, you know, different areas. If something's not working in one area, maybe they're in another one, you know.
It's just applying that knowledge, isn't it? Using those skills and those tools to, you know, to get you a few extra bites.
There's this misnomer that carp fishing is all about casting baits out and sitting there and waiting for it to happen. There's so much more that the individual can do on the bank to make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, we're nearly there.
Ready? Yeah. And there he is. Lovely little carp. Look at that.
Seen the net and he's not happy.
Look at that.
Martin, will you hide your ugly face? You're frightening me.
He's looking at you, not me.
Golden Bennett.
And there we go.
Lovely, Martin. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. Right. Where's your mat, fella?
Up the back there.
Okay. Let's pop that one there. Just make sure this chap's sat in the bottom there.
Martin, I'll tell you what, I'll just hold the fish. Can you wet the mat for me?
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
Cheers, mate.
All
That's
right.
all right. Yeah, I got it.
Now, I mean, it's okay catching these guys, getting this location right, giving them food and everything else, but we've got to take care of them as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, real important.
Important thing. You can go back in and make somebody else's day.
Let's just get on a bit of a level there. Right, the mat's really wet. Let's unclip those a second. Let me just grab a little bit more water. Okay, fella, we're ready?
We're just on that fault, Martin.
Yeah.
Before people lift carp out of the water, just check all the fins are flush to its body, because they can bend and you can snap them.
Okay.
So look under, feel underneath.
Yep.
Make sure, and then draw the net up slowly around it, and there we go.
All right, you okay there?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get that one?
Gently on the mat.
Okay, rods out the way, because if you lay them on the floor you can stand on them.
Yes, don't you break my rod.
Okay, just go back to that point about the fins. I mean, when you lifted the fish, you were running your hand down the side of the net to ensure all the fins were folded.
Yeah. Go all the way down the length of the body. There's not just that one fin there at the front, there's the ones in the middle and the anal fin at the back. Just make sure no rays of the fins are sticking through the mesh. Okay. And you've got total control of him then.
Carp safety, it's of paramount importance. Like, you know, you come and fish for these creatures, please, please, please look after them. You know, these are future fish which some of the youngsters that you perhaps know are going to fish for in a few years' time. You know, look after them and treat them with the respect they deserve.
Yeah. He's made your day, and he'll make somebody else's day if you look after him, and it's vitally important, as Martin says. Right, next thing to do. I always have a look where I've hooked them. It tells me a lot about the rigs I'm using and if I'm getting it right. This one's nailed in the bottom lip. Don't be rough with them, but push the hook out the way that it went in.
Again, this one's nailed.
This one's nailed right in the centre of the bottom lip, exactly where you want to hook them. When you come to get the hook out, don't try and tear the hook out. Push it out the way it went in, and it just pops out, as simple as that. No need most of the time for anything else other than just popping the hook out.
Okay, let me move that one out of the way.
One of my pet hates is people picking up carp with their watches on as well. So make sure your watch is off.
Another thing to bear in mind is the mat. It looks an awfully large mat, but it's there for a purpose. She might be a, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 pound carp, but she deserves to have a large area in case she crashes or moves about like she's doing now. It's a natural reaction at the end of the day, but if she falls off this mat or flips off the mat onto the hard gravel or stones, she's going to damage herself, and that's not good for fishing, it's not good for the carp, and it's not good for you. So please, 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 you know, we can't reiterate this enough. Get yourself a decent unhooking mat and look after the carp you're catching. All right, we're going to get her back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a quick look at her, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, baby. Settle down.
Still fighting on the bank as well. Let me get a bit of water to put over her head here.
All right, baby. Trust me to get the one with attitude, Fordy.
Notice the way that Chili's holding the carp as well. We get a lot of photos into the magazines over the course of the year, and people's hands are in front of the face or up around the side, and worst of all, people put their thumbs or their fingers inside the mouth. You don't need to do that. Ian's got full control of this carp. The mat's there for a safety factor. He's not holding it high up in the air, and he's not standing up. This is another thing as well. You know, keep the fish low to the ground where the padding is. If she flips, she falls to the mat, she's not going to damage herself. Gorgeous creature.
Yeah.
Gave us a bit of fun. Let's get her back in.
Lovely job,
and we'll
Martin.
pop off and we'll see what Mark's doing.
Okay.
There she goes.
Ta-ta. And that is what it's all about.